This week's Parsha is Parashat Re'eh, and it says, Re'eh anochi noten lifnechem hayom bracha uklala. See, this day I set before you blessing and curse. And it talks about how if you follow the mitzvot, and if you follow the path, then blessings will happen, and if you don't, then curses will happen. I've always struggled with the concept of reward and punishment within our religious framework. Always. It's been a major source of conflict within my own development of my own personal theology. But I think there's actually a profound concept here, which is it's not if you have to think about what is the essence of a mitzvah, right? The essence of a mitzvah is a practice or a ritual or something that strengthens and deepens our connection with the divine. That's the essence of mitzvot. That's why we have them. They're tools to allow us to engage with a connection with the divine. So if you follow the mitzvot, if you live a life that's rooted in engaging with that connection, then you experience the manifestation of that as blessings and good things, and however you want to kind of experience that and how we experience the world, it's brachot. And if we don't live a life that's rooted in a connection and rooted in striving to connect with the divine and experiencing the divine in our own ways, we live a life and a path that's void of the divine, then it manifests in the concept of klalot, of curses, of however that ends up becoming the life that we end up leading. A life void of mitzvot, not specific mitzvot, put on tefillin, have a mezuzah, not the specifics, but the concept of why we have the mitzvot. If a life void of that is void of a connection with the divine. And who we are as a people is a people that strive for that connection. So it's not about rewards and punishments, even though the text itself lays it out in a way that's very much about rewards and punishment. But it's actually about consequence to the life and the mentality in which we address life and in the way we go through life. It's a very interesting parsha. The Me'or Einayim, he writes how it says et habracha asher tishmeu el mitzvot Adonai Elohechem, that he says, why does it start with et? And the idea is that the blessings, et is aleph through tav, it's everything. So the idea is that the way in which we go through life and the way in which we experience life is everything comes from the divine. Every part of it, the blessings and the curses, all of it is sourced and rooted in the divine. And as we go through life, regardless of what we experience, whether they be blessings or curses or hardships or joy, all of that stems from the source of the divine. And it's our job and it's our goal and it's our responsibility to find and strive to find the divine in every aspect and all facets of our lives. Even the Mei HaShiloach even says that in talking about Abraham's castle, how he was walking and he sees it's a midrash, but it talks about how he's walking and he sees this burning castle. And that's the moment in which Abraham has that initial connection with God. And he realizes and he recognizes that there's something wrong, that there's this burning castle, which is like symbolic of the burning world around him. He experiences pain and suffering and tragedy, and he realizes that there has to be more. There should be something else than that. And if there's a longing for, the Mei HaShiloach goes on and he talks about it, if there is that question of longing for something else, for a deeper understanding, was how Abraham connected with the concept of the divine, which means at the initial moment of our communal and religious framework, that initial interaction between a human being and God stemmed from pain and suffering. And it stemmed from the source of recognizing that pain and suffering exists. And through that realization and experience, Avram was actually able to experience and connect with God. So same for us. The concept of the mitzvot is to allow us to connect to God. And if you don't follow the mitzvot, if you don't live a life that's rooted in striving to connect with that divine force, then you don't have that. And that is experienced, and that manifests in things that are unpleasant. Right? Living a life void of meaning and void of connection is unpleasant. But if we realize that all of it, even our pain and even our suffering and even all of our joy and happiness, everything stems from the divine, that's the point of what we're doing. That's the point of the mitzvot. Parsha Re'eh is saying, follow the mitzvot, and it'll help you facilitate a deeper connection and a deeper realization and a deeper commitment to and connection with the divine. So the message and the takeaway, I think, or one of them can be, that regardless of what we experience and how we experience life, our challenge and our task is to actually find the divine and to find the connection to the divine in all facets of our lives.